Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Let me show you how this little $15 catch basin will save you thousands of dollars over installing a gravel perforated pipe system, which is known as a French drain. Okay, first let's review what a French drain actually is. A French drain is perforated pipe surrounded by an aggregate, whether it be gravel or some people like to use the easy flow. I like to use the easy flow. I think it works great. But it is a perforated pipe with an aggregate around it. And you can use slotted pipe or a pipe that has holes in the bottom of it, because as water rises up in the ground, it will go through that aggregate into the pipe and be carried away. So when it rains really hard, I mean really hard, water comes down onto the ground, and of course it goes down through the ground. But once that water table begins to rise, so now the ground is full, it's like a swimming pool. You can only put so much in, it starts to fill up. So once that groundwater rises, it rises up through the gravel into the perforated pipe, and the pipe carries that water away. Take a look at what a catch basin does. Here's three different kinds. We've got my favorite, this little 6x6 round catch basin. What is a catch basin? A catch basin is exactly what the name says. This catches debris. You can see this little space down here underneath. This is where the discharge pipe comes out, but the debris sits down in the bottom. So you put the grate on the top. This goes in the low spot of the yard. When it rains hard, all that water pours into the basin. It just pours into the basin, and the pipe carries it away. Don't forget, you must have a discharge. You cannot run this into a dry well. You cannot run this underground and let it dead end. It must discharge to daylight. So if you've got a good downhill run, simple. If you don't, you're going to need a sump pump, and I have lots of videos to explain that. But we're talking about catch basins today and how this little $15 basin will save you tens of thousands of dollars. Good morning, Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we are down here in Merritt Island, and we are going to do a real simple install, something that you guys could easily do yourself. What we're doing is we're going to install a small catch basin and attach it to an existing line. This is really helpful when you've got a lot of surface water that you need to collect. If the yard's flooding and you already have a drain installed, this is something that you guys can easily do yourself, take you about 15-20 minutes. So adding a small catch basin to your line, the first thing you need to do is find the line you're attaching to. And you can see there's a small catch basin over there. That's an atrium grate. Then we have the line that's come out. We've cut the sod off. We need to cut off a fair amount of sod here and expose the pipe fairly well so we can fit a T onto that drain. And then the line is going to come back. We'll put our catch basin here, which means that water is running this direction. So while Joe exposes that, I'm going to go grab the T and we'll go from there. So we've already exposed the line over here. Again, we've got a 4-inch corrugated pipe, and you can see this is the beginning of the line. This is a grate, a catch basin, but it has an atrium grate, which meant that she could bring that higher up and let things go around it. Water still goes into the line. We've got a 4-inch drain. This runs over. There's another catch basin right over there. And it all runs over to a sump basin over there at the corner of that walk. Everything works great here, but right off of this patio, when it rains hard, everything collects right here. It doesn't quite get over to this atrium because there is a curb here as the edge. So if you've got this type of a problem, you've got a low spot in the backyard that collects a lot of water, this is all you really need to do. So once you determine where you're going to put your catch basin, cut your sod off, set it off to the side, and then we're just going to excavate right down through there. A lot of tree roots off of these palms here, but something, again, you could easily do this yourself, take you about 15 minutes. Okay, so to make your connection to your existing line, set your T onto the pipe. Remember, you want to cut to the inside of the coupling, so you make a mark. Joe's holding the saw right there where he's going to cut it. We're just going to cut right through the pipe, go straight through it, non-stop. That's one side. Next, we're going to put the T back on there and make another measurement. to this side of the pipe. Yep, right there. And cut straight through it. There we go. And as you can see, the coupling is going to be bigger than the opening. And that's good because you want this to be a tight fit. So this side, hard to pull up because it's underneath of that curve. So we're going to connect this side first. All we're going to do is push it on there and snap it in place. There we go. And then the other side, because it's corrugated, we could squish it, but usually if you just lift it up a little bit higher, pull up the T a little bit, it'll snap right in place. There it goes. Perfect. Easy connection. Now we're ready to go ahead and lay pipe over to and connect one side and then lay it across to where your catch basin is, make that measurement, and cut it off. It's always better to make it a little bit long when you make the cut because you can always cut it shorter. But if you cut it short, you'll have to do it all again. So he's made his measurement. We're going to cut it off. We're going to snap that onto the catch basin. And it might be a little long, but we'll see. So again, this is good because it's easy to cut off some. I'd cut off a little bit more. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. We'll go ahead and snap that in place. Perfect. We'll set that down into the basin to our spot. We want that catch basin to be a little bit lower than the top of the concrete, which is just perfect. We're ready to backfill. This is good too. You just use your hand to pack around it, get it tight. Use your hand to throw extra soil on there to help hold down the pipe. Just enough to keep it in place so that when you backfill, nothing moves around. That looks real good. Now we're ready to backfill. Again, a really simple project, do-it-yourselfer, about 15 minutes, and you're done. So you might have some excess soil and you might not, but if you do, find a spot for it, get rid of it. Remember that we're just going to set the sod back on here and it's just going to settle all by itself. Okay, so we've got the catch basin installed, put the sod back. Remember, it all will settle, don't worry, let it rain on it, it's coming down. So now when water comes off of this concrete patio, it'll all pour down into the catch basin, comes over to the main line, runs through a series of catch basins, and it comes over here to the sump pump. The sump pump's lifting it up and sending it all the way around to the front, which is well beyond that fence. Remember, we installed this job about 1.5 years ago, and not maybe a month or two ago, we put a battery backup system on here as well. So all those videos are available if you want to take a look at them. But again, a real simple install, something you could do yourself, save yourself $300 or $400. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.